There is not a single day where Southwest man go agree for enter into a political or administrative union with Northwest. It not go ever happen.
Apostle Ambe, what are the possibilities for the international community to pressure government to get into what Capo is saying? Because from every indications, they are becoming the more indifferent to what's happening.
Mr. Leo, this international community of a thing has been something I've addressed repeatedly on this platform, and I still maintain my stand.
Okay.
They are not ignorant of the amount of death recorded already. They are not ignorant of the damages caused already. They are not ignorant of what Cameroon stands to, or Cameroon is. They are not ignorant of the history of this country. This international community we are talking is Britain, France, Canada, America, people who are vested with what happened in Cameroon from the 20s right to the 60s to present day. I'm sure they are very much aware of what is happening. I'm sure they have had images, pictures of different atrocities occurring here. They have even sent representatives to come. Commonwealth has come here through Patricia Scotland. Controller Francophonie came here, AU came here, Secretary General of United Nations came here, the UN Senate has written, UN Congress has written, and name them, you can name them. The Norwegian Refugee Commission wrote that it's the most neglected crisis among all crises. I have statistics. The Human Rights Watch has also been here giving statistics of what is happening on ground. Are you telling me that this international community is that heartless, that they will see children not going to school, they will see children displaced, they will see refugees in Nigeria around the Ogoja area, Ikom area, they will see Cameroonians, Anglophones running and meddling, sleeping in the streets in Douala. They will see the amount of deaths. This one died, this one died, this one died. The mass killing in Garbu, the children who died, and name them, the soldiers who have died so far, and the destruction of properties. This international community has played the deaf and dumb object in this particular crisis for a very long time. I'm wondering if at all Capo is not aware that these personalities and all these organizations came to this nation and they are still playing a deaf ear and a blind eye to what is happening right now. Is it now that they will suddenly from nowhere erupt? The national dialogue was held in this country, even the subject of federalism. I mean, there are people who are federalists that live in this country, which means they will not kill you as a federalist. They will not arrest you as a federalist. But the subject of federalism was not even accepted to be shared in the national dialogue. Is it what he's asking right now that the Cameroon government will suddenly respond to? Or the international community is not aware of the fact that there are confederationists in this country, there are federalists in this country who have been agitating and publicly presenting their views. As a matter of fact, a legitimate political party like SDF that has won seats in the parliament has been agitating for a federal system of government, and a blind eye and a deaf ear was given to them. Is it now that the international community from nowhere will suddenly erupt and then come to solve? We have been agitating in the past about Resolution 1608, something that Americans themselves wrote. We are reminding them. How can you be reminded that your name is Kum Leonard? That is where the challenge is. So I don't see an international community coming to solve, because the attempt even by the Swiss, it has been rejected, and going this way, all this way, Canadian pre-talks, they have not amounted to anything. That tells you that we will keep on dying and trusting this international community to come in and solve a problem that we could put our heads together, arrive at a consensus, be able to negotiate, and then shift grounds for two reasons. One, for the value and the sacredness of human life, which is being destroyed day in, day out. And secondly, for peace, which is a commodity that cannot be bought. How did war become too cheap than peace?
Mkpd started by saying that the position of the Southwest was that they don't want to have anything to do with the Northwest. And that if they are talking about federation, the Southwest position was that they didn't want any federation as long as that will have them to do with the Northwest.
My country people then, when I listen to Archbishop Andrew Nkia, and then I go analyze something later.
we're all in this hall. And Mkpd went back to history to analyze the divisions and the disagreements between Southwest and Northwest. And that federation on condition that Southwest and Northwest are not together. Now, when he said this was the position that the Southwest brought to dialogue. And the Southwest said, 10-state federation. They were for federation, but 10-state federation. One man from the east and one from the north got up and said, look, we have never been a state. Why do you want to force us into statehood? You say you want 10 states. Why are you forcing us to be a state? You were a state, you know what it means. We have never been. So we don't want, why do you want to force us into statehood? You say you want 10 states. Why are you forcing us to be a state? You were a state, you know what it means. We have never been. So we don't want state. Big argument broke out in the hall. And in the end, it is some lawyer who got up and went back to the Constitution and said, okay, with these arguments, there is provision for special status. So let us go back now to this Constitution and see how this special status can help Northwest and Southwest remain a little bit independent, but at the same time, not within the Federation. This was a compromise position that came out of the dialogue because the Southwest position was that they wanted Federation but nothing to do with the Northwest. These are clear facts of history that we lived through in the Grand National Dialogue. So now people are arguing, oh, they want Federation, they want this and the other. We sat in that hall and this is how the word special status came about. This is something that we can say is the fruit of the dialogue. And since then, what I think is that the decentralization process and the process of the independence or the autonomy of the regions has to be hastened. We are doing a lot of talking and very little is happening practically. The regions should be empowered and the regions should be able to take their own development into their hands. Then this problem will take a different dimension. This is the fruit of the dialogue. Okay. And so we cannot say nothing happened in the dialogue. And I want this history to pass very clearly how special status came about. Because of the disagreement that occurred in the hall between Northwest and Southwest. This is how we quarreled in the hall. It was a very big quarrel. Since I am a man of many worlds, I unfortunately found myself between the Northwest parliamentarians and the Southwest parliamentarians. So I was the one who was almost dividing the fight in the hall with Bishop George Ukwo. This is the reality. So people just come and enter the story in chapter 3. They don't understand how it came about. And this is what I want our televiewers to understand.
Okay. So when I don't listen to a man of God, Archbishop Andrew Mkpd, where he don't dedicate his life for justice, for the poor, for serve people them. He no get no party, he no be politician. He did talk na the truth and nothing but the truth. Archbishop Mkpd na Anglophone Cameroonian. The first thing we wanna get to take away, now he explain how the special status it become about. It become about as a compromise because the Anglophone bishops and some other Anglophones, they be table a proposal to the Cameroon government for give federation. But the people, the way they deny federation, where they sabotage and they torpedo that idea for federation inside Cameroon, now Anglophones, especially the Southwesterners, the division between Anglophones, Northwest versus Southwest, is one of the biggest reasons why Anglophone Cameroonians today will start with the day today. From the abolishment of the federal constitution in 1972, right up to what we will find ourselves in. You get Vikuma back in the 60s and all of those things. Vikuma, now Victoria, Kumba, Mamfe Alliance, where the Southwesterners, they be create them in the 1960s, just 2 years after independence, in order for combat the over domination of the Northwesterners them inside the West Cameroon government at that time in the 1960s. Make una understand the grievances where the Anglophones, where the Southwesterners they get them against the Northwesterners, they be real, they be substantiated, and it be evident. And we don't talk about this before. Look at the West Cameroon in 1961, 1967, up to 1972. For those first 10, 11 years of the Federation, every single senior position in that federal government was held by Northwesterners. Whether not the vice president, to the prime minister, to the what, now John Go Foncha. At one point, John Go Foncha be occupied both of those positions them before he leave for Endele, for Estimuna, when another Northwesterners them, and then I think Jua or whoever. Go read the history. You could see and say the two biggest positions in West Cameroon in 1961 to 1972, they were all held by Northwesterners them. So this grievance and this injustice and this perception where the Southwesterners, the feeling where they get them of over domination and marginalization by the Northwesterners is very real. Now, the number one problem that way Anglophones need for tackle them before anything else. Now, why that way Ambazonia will never exist? Because the Southwesterners are not stupid. They don't understand. Nothing no will ever happen like a political or administrative union where the Southwest and the Northwest people them they go join for that kind of union, say they could operate as one entity. It will never happen. Better they go back to war. Better people they die than for that for happen. It is not realistic. Make a explainer for una. When we talk about these things them now because we want to prevent possible future bloodshed. No, not because they will like the infighting between Anglophones them. No, the infighting is already there. It was always there. It has been there since the 50s. No, that today is start. And the funniest thing I say, that infighting, now they allow the Anglophones them for the position where they did today. From the 50s where they dribble them, they don't give them a third option now because they were too busy fighting Anglophone versus Anglophone. Now they can't give them the only two options for join Nigeria or join Cameroon. They decide for join Cameroon. While President Amadou Ahidjo be the draft constitution, if they try to build a country, Anglophones, Foncha versus Ndele, they were all busy fighting amongst themselves. Come right for 2023, when where they talk about Ambazonia terrorism and all this stupidity where they talk about secession, Ayabacho the fight na Sako Ekome, where they fight na where they fight na the other one Yerima, where they fight na versus Christopher Anu, where they fight versus Ayuk Tabe. So Anglophones have always been a divided people. And when they be this divided, it be easy for conquer them. It be easy for manipulate them. It be easier for divide them. It be easier for give them whatever way you want for give them because they don't get a choice. Because they don't ever put a united front for nothing. Anglophones, they don't always be divided. Now, going back to 2019, where the Grand National Dialogue is behold. Now, the Anglophones that they talk now say, according to them, because the proposal will be brought forward by the Anglophone bishops and other Anglophone esteemed political elites and clergy and civil society, they will bring about this idea for federation. No be Francophone man torpedo that idea. Now so Anglophone versus Anglophone. When I don't hear from Bishop Nkia, your own mouth, Bishop Nkia, they are alive. Now reverend, now clergy, now archbishop. It don't get no reason for life for any person. When I understand, it's a now from Mkpd and other Southwesterners, they stand, they talk, say, they no go ever go into any entity, into any union with Northwesterners. Never. They say better, when I talk about that federation, better make we go for 10-state federation. Some man will come out from north, another one will come out from east. They talk, say, no, we no want with 10-state federation because we now want force the federation on for East region for become a state within a 10-state federation. We no want time because in a 10-state federation scenario, you go force the other 8 regions them for be federated. So the only other option now wait, 3-state federation. Because Southwest man no go ever agree for join any business with Northwest man, he go want his own separate state. Northwest get his own separate state and then the other region. So now, so the idea of a 2-state federation is dead and buried. As a matter of fact, it has been aborted before they even conceive. That abortion will happen before conception. They could understand that one. And not because a francophone man, no. It has only to do with the political dynamic between the Northwesterner and the Southwesterner. So because the Southwest man no get or no want anything for do politically and administratively with Northwesterner, now for them now that 2-state federation it fall apart. They go for 10-state federation. The francophones they say no, we are not to impose federation on we. Now when the anglophones they cry federation. We will not want we for go to 10-state federation. So that idea for 10-state it die. Then now why that way as Archbishop Nkia talk, ye and Bishop Nku, they become now they like there is separate fight between Northwesterners and Southwesterners. There is separate fight. Francophone they should not forget they look at them. They look at them because this particular dialogue, the Grand National Dialogue of 2019, ABB held, convened by the head of state for address the problem in the Anglophone region. So we, the Anglophones, we get the upper hand in anything. They put the Prime Minister, His Excellency, Joseph John Gute, at the helm of the Grand National Dialogue for convener and for come up with proposals and solutions for the Grand National Dialogue. When they reach for the Anglophones, they start fight. They say they don't want them 2-state federation, and the Francophones they say they don't want them 10-state federation. So federation it fail, not because of what way only a Pobia Duam or Francophone Duam, but because of what way Anglophones the Duam. Now they compromise the middle ground where they become to now what special status. Now we understand how we end up with the special status. You not get nothing for do with President Pobia. Why me I talk about the Prime Minister, His Excellency Joseph John Gute? Now because now Anglophone, now Southwesterner, now chief for a village, okay? And it be get the powers for propose or for convene the Grand National Dialogue, take all those proposals them, and whatever proposals them, it bring them forward for resolve the Anglophone crisis, President Paul Biya was prepared to sanction it. I did tell my country people, as person where it be privileged enough for they in the system, for the way me and she don't one-on-one I talk with the Prime Minister John Gute himself. Not be now for like a meeting or like in a conference. No, I mean say one-on-one. Where he invite me for the office will talk. So I be privileged. I know some things them where they go where we not know. I be privileged for she don't talk one-on-one with plenty other ministers them, like Minister Bete Asomo, Minister of Defense, and the other ministers the way they there for presidency. When I know very well they don't invite me for presidency many times. I need to go for conference, go for crowd. No, I go get audience one-on-one with the real people the way that they rule that country. So I understand some kind of things then. President Paul Biya be give Anglophones a golden opportunity. If they be want that federation where they don't cry about, they could have got it at the Grand National Dialogue. But now so Anglophones they deny federation no go ever happen for Cameroon, at least not 2-state federation. It is impossible. The Prime Minister himself, Joseph John Gute, he no get choice. He listen to all the debates and all the proposals, listen to all the other rebuttals and all the other middle ground and concessions and compromises, and they arrive at the biggest achievement of the Grand National Dialogue, special status. It could have been federation. It could have been. But now because of the political dynamic between the Northwest and the Southwest region, that is why we ended up with the special status. Make una no ever blame President Paul Biya or blame any person, but look inward at Anglophones. We are our own problem. And once again, I not go blame the Southwesterners for feeling the way they feel. because the evidence is there. The over domination by the Northwesterners is evident, it's real. It not be perceived. It not be now say they don't craze the things that they over dominate them. The evidence is there, and I don't give una. From 1961 to 1972, during the federal structure of Cameroon, in those days, look at all the top positions them. They will be held by who? All Northwesterners. They don't even give Southwestman a chance. I know when I go talk say na politics, but then when I go cry marginalization inside Cameroon too, na politics. CPDM they win because they play politics better than you. And then when I talk, when I cry marginalization, the biggest marginalization will don't ever happen for Cameroon. Now the marginalization of the Southwesterner by the Northwesterner. And me at the talk as a bona fide 100% born and bred Grafi Pikin, Momo Pikin. So I did tell una, make una hear, una understand that the dynamic this. And me I did talk as person way it get inside knowledge as well. Because before the convening of the Grand National Dialogue, I be there Cameroon during the planning phases. Some of we will know, say this thing will happen, even before President Paul Biya can make a public statement for announce and say this, so there will be Grand National Dialogue. I be there Cameroon for August 2019. I go plus Odidi Asante, I make live video, go for presidency, when I see him. I be there pay. I know these things. I talk to the people the way they be plan for convene the Grand National Dialogue before President Paul Biya can do the announcement for September 2019. Say they go convene a Grand National Dialogue. I knew I'll be just the wait now wait. Make it can make the announcement before we start the publicizer. They invite me personally. They write my name for the invitation. They send it for me. I talk say I humbly decline. I send a representative instead. But me, I never go for the Grand National Dialogue in person. So I tell when I as person way it be vested, it get interest in this thing. The special status it will be arrived at as a compromise, all because of the infighting between Northwestman and Southwestman. And this infighting no start now today. It start now even in the 50s. Since then. So no be new thing. And when we bring up, we talk them, we try to educate people then to understand the reality of what way we face them, so that we feel better prepare ourselves. And when we make proposals, or we make counter proposals, or we make concessions, or we make compromises, or we talk politics, we talk them with the knowledge of and understanding of the real dynamic on the ground. There is not a single day where Southwest man go agree for enter into a political or administrative union with Northwest. It not go ever happen. Keuna kill all Southwest man. The last man it go oppose Northwest. That is just the simple truth. And now where we know that reality, now where we know that fact, what are we going to do about it? Now for Shillong begin cry marginalization. Now for pig guns continue to kill ourselves. Now we know the reality. What are we going to do? You come up with policies. You come up with educational strategies for inform your population and policies to better exploit the situation that you have at hand. That's what you do. That's how intellectual people they operate. You know, just for them they cry, they woke up, pick check up from Kadai guns, give the poorly educated, the vulnerable, may they go make a bad situation even worse. So sorry, I digress more, but now that small talk will be bring up owner. I never come live in a long time. I contribute people them, but very soon I'm going to come live. Maybe we can analyze all these kind of things. Them. Thank you, plenty. I contribute people them.
Hail the Kumkumasa. We the Cameroonians, we pledge our loyalty. Kumkumasa, Kumkumasa, you shall free our country from terror, and your blessing shall be like the stars above. The Most High God shall be your guide.
Mà chen sẽ cho dùng cùng chen sẽ phân vậy chen sẽ phân chi là nó bữa lên bữa鱼cứ khờ lắm một quả bữa鱼rồi rồi phân chi bể鱼cứ khờ một quả bể鱼rồi rồi một quả mà sẽ mà ya cần sẽ cả lăng tham này nữa mà ya cần sẽ cả là to nhọ bữa ya là to vô tham nó sẽ nên sẽ fenya sote ba fenya nyonyo bo ya ka wasu kofa ta ngoba ndiyong ba te ne kia suna gukan kon ta nya ka tun bara ngoba ne na ma kwale ba ta ta no ka ba na da fi ne be la ba la bang bang ba ene lwa ya mo bang bang ba ban chung ya la bang bang ba de bon fi la le lang wakata de lang na 29 ba na to July 2023 bun no ba ka to ya ka ta ya na ba from the word go je ya lang ba yi de ka yi to ba de decide lang la le ha si fa de ko na he ha ma na ka to ya ka ba yeah ha ma na ka to ya ka ba ba vo ya da fon ko ha a ya da ba vo ha na ya ka na kan kong ta ni ka se na bang ha na de on le bro mo kwa ya on ba de se bo ha na pass 4 year to 5 year lang ba kan ma to ke ba ra on to ba we ya bin no ne kya ya mu je lu ta mana to na an che 100,000 or 200,000 te mana ngo mala nya le kan ngo ka wana te ma he na okay kan gwa ke to kan che mo ba na lang mun ka fi na ka chen se le maka to bun ma fi na ka chen se le makwa go ahead no way say uno kun say wa uno cho hole uno kun baka maje kun cho te ko na ambe so ba uno kun say wa ga da uno cho hole uno kun da bu ma finan sai le mana 100% baba ban elle bu ma finan sai le any brutality wa se na chi andiyo ma chi ba tung bu to ko ya mana lunse in sai la le be yi ta any kan no chi a chi yo le ya ke nyin na ene command wa ba na command ka to ya ka la bayemo awi o che da o che ale o ga da avai ha o ma bin la ya avai ha ba ba ta na wan bu na bu cha ta barak baba vo na to wana na sa ka ko wana le ba senye ba le bang nyu ba sa ka ko le no ba senye ba eni ya mlo te je la nya le inu ka no oi ule eni ya mlo te je la na ha le na no ka no wana ule yo ko tung phong ha na no ha me je yung ko lang le ma swe ne ka chen se la le eni ya unyi nyung fa chen se eni ya unyi nyung fa chen se le unyi no ba soja ubu je che ha ka chen se no open ne eni no uje ka ba te yin no black wale je che je no ba te wa ka ye wa ba te wa le ka ye wa ba wa ka che wa ke ye ka no la le ya ko chen se I chen se hu ta ha no wa ma ba elie ba lu nsa se na sa nto sa nsa ga na bu nto ba ra je fin sa na sa nsa ha no elie la le wa ki kan no ma lang nya ka be ye ka ma je amba ba ga yi bu nto wa ki eni kan nya ka be ye ga yi bu nto bo na sa kan no ha ta ba ma no sa ba no fa ba amba ya ba ka be te ba ga ba je ba no ba ga gu de fung ye te ka be te ba no ga gu de fung ya te ba da bo chen se hu wani o mate bas ko ngwalang da ma kie wo bunga ga no bu ta nse ba ta no de bu gan se la le ki mo se ma kie kwa wa ta ha ba le ma kie wo ga da 1,600,000 ta fofon aran walang na ka ke nan se mi nun ku kie wa ba na ka e to na ka 1 million wa ga no bu kun se ma wa yi la lile ga de tsenya wu nyo to nyo o me bi le ya che ma avai ha ba bung le bu hu ba bu no yo ha bung ne ka bung mum fu bu yo ka na ha bu tong bu si yo de ben sui fa cho ba no we tung hu ne sui ben a so ba lo lang ke chen se di sai la le ba fo ba bia tung chua le ta bu no tung khu ba di sai ba khu ha lang fo fa tung ha no wa ma no ke to ke no chen se lang ne de on le bro kong kong te ke se fo no wa na to ke no chen se lang ke sui ka ma ne chue ne any ye won no chen se any ye wa ne ye won bu no ba da nyin ga ne ke tung bu tong be bung ba je che be je no che be bi ku konta ma ke je ne ma je ye ma ga de fo be ga no ba yin ku bo yo bo a chen se yan se ya mo bo ku tu chua hu be ka civilian ka soja mo no ba na fo no yan se na ku tu no ka ba a wa no ku tu no ka ma kwa ke chi la mu yang ra ya ke ba bo fo ba zo wa no ku tu no ka ma ke chi ta la mu yang ra ba de ba zo ba no en fo je fa cho chwa ba no wa ba tong malu ne ba ke gwe ba yo kwa ba ma mi ta kya ba nga sa ko ne ba yin che na ba ji ba bun je kye su le la le ba ne bu je ba le ne ye ba ma kye ba fa lang ba la chen se la le mo no ba ne fo no ba no ka la li ba ma tang ba tang ne ke da ko la li ke mo bo bun no na no che be ye ko ke yo fu se la le si de fe nyu ba yi mo no ban ka ban ye ke chen se ha ke no wana ke bung we le go na ke bung ko da ye mo ye mo ke no ba lo ba da le bu nyu ke ba ye mo ke ba ye no ke ba da ye mo ke no lo mo kwa wa le bu ya ba no mo no ba se fo no ndi yung le la le cha ke ko yo mo no ko yo se no de ngo ba yi se no la le bu o nda ba to la je le yang ne se we me se wo tong chia yang se we tong chia la le ma ke zo de on le bro ma ke zo ya na to le ke chen se no na ge mo no ba na fo no mo a yong ku gu sa ba na ke no go we che no bra le ba after go we ko ba ke le ku ba ben no et ba na bung gi te ta ha ba na bung le ba lin ya ba na bung bu o le na bung bu wu nyin u ki ga ya ka u ki ga je na man chi ba na nyu ta haura yin fa ce ba mu ba konta obun sai cin lang la le be ko ce be je ba ne le ke cin sai ha ba ne ce le be yi fa jin ba yi fa jin be ba lung be ke mo ko be lung ba ke mo ko ba ko mi ra sai audio mu ne ce ne any ba ye ba su ta fun wuta cin unga any business any store ye wuta ta fun da cin unga gabo balwa ma mana bon ta ba cha kun je chen sai na ma lu da ka chen sai ba mu lu da ha na ka ba ma lu da ka chen sai ba la le ba bon ba nga ba la le ba le no da che hu e mu 2 minute mato mun ci ta no tun ba se ba na nyin ba fata ha ba balwa ha mu na je ba balwa ha fata mu na je ba balwa ha ba fa use to chen se mbo bu ba ki ba store to chen se bo use ta ha man chi na ku ba je kun to ba store bu le ba fa wa tin ba mato ga ba fata ba fun je yin ba fata ba lu le ba bon ba lu ba man chi na da ma kun chen le ba fa fata store ye ga na ba nga ma ba na reason wa ba lu le ba da bon ba lu ba ke che ze ka wa ba be bon ba lu ba ki any project chen se na ka kare hu tun ke che ba te ba kare project ha un ga ba se muna ke yo ke me ka kwa na ke chen se cha yon ko kwa na ba to ya to wo yo no ka o ke se kwa na le ya se wo yo ke se kwa na le ya to la na no ka na cha che mana ke chen ni ka da bon no ma no ka na no ke yo ke chen se na che ba ki che ba se ba be na chen de ga ba yo ba no ba na je chen de ga ba yo ba no ba na je ke yo na che